What happens when humanity's last hope for survival depends on an alliance with ancient dragon-like beings? Just as trust begins to form, a shocking discovery threatens to tear both species apart in the most unexpected way. The Earth's final moments were etched in humanity's collective memory. The skies ablaze with plasma fire, cities crumbling under alien bombardment. The invaders' massive ships blotted out the sun as they systematically dismantled everything humans had built over millennia. Among the fleeing refugee fleet, a young diplomat named Sophia Lang watched through the observation deck's reinforced glass as her home planet disintegrated into cosmic dust. Her heart pounded against her ribcage, matching the rhythm of the emergency alarms that had become an unwelcome soundtrack to human existence. On Orion 7, a newly colonized world orbiting a binary star system, Commander Mark Anderson paced the perimeter of the provisional military base. His weathered face bore the marks of countless battles, each scar telling a story of survival against impossible odds. The planet's crimson-tinged atmosphere cast long shadows across his features as he reviewed the latest reconnaissance reports. Something about this world felt different. The air carried an electric charge that made his skin prickle, and the native flora seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Meanwhile, deep within Orion 7's crystalline caverns, Kairos, an ancient being whose scaled form shimmered like liquid metal, observed the new arrivals through eyes that glowed with centuries of accumulated wisdom. The dragon-like creature extended its consciousness toward the human settlement, sensing their desperation and determination. The time had come to make contact, though Kairos knew the alliance they proposed might prove more dangerous than the invaders themselves. We've only begun to scratch the surface of this unfolding drama, but trust me, the tension is just beginning to build. Stay with us to witness what happens when these three destinies collide in ways no one could have anticipated. The first encounter occurred during a routine patrol near the Crystal Forest's edge. Sophia's diplomatic convoy had ventured too close to the mysterious formations when the ground began to resonate with a low-frequency hum. The air thickened, charged particles dancing around their vehicles like static electricity. Suddenly, Kairos emerged from between two towering crystal spires, its iridescent scales catching the light of both suns in a dazzling display. The human soldiers raised their weapons instinctively, but Sophia stepped forward, raising her hand in what she hoped would be recognized as a universal gesture of peace. Back at command headquarters, Mark slammed his fist against the tactical display table as the live feed from Sophia's body camera played across multiple screens. "Damn it, Lang! You're compromising our entire defensive position," he barked into the comm system. But even as he spoke, his trained eye noticed something peculiar. The dragon being's movements weren't aggressive. Instead, they carried an elegance that suggested intelligence far beyond mere animal instinct. The way Kairos inclined its head, the deliberate positioning of its claws, these were calculated actions, not random beast-like behavior. In the tense standoff, Kairos communicated telepathically, projecting images directly into Sophia's mind. She saw visions of ancient battles fought between the dragon race and the very invaders who had destroyed Earth. The mental transmission was overwhelming, yet she remained standing, determined to understand. The dragons hadn't merely survived. They had adapted, evolved, and ultimately triumphed over their common enemy. As Kairos shared knowledge of their advanced technology and strategic warfare, Sophia realized they possessed exactly what humanity desperately needed to turn the tide of war. But Mark wasn't convinced. Years of combat experience had taught him to question seemingly perfect solutions. Why would such an advanced species suddenly offer help? What did they stand to gain? Sitting alone in his quarters later that night, he studied the footage again, frame by frame. Something about the dragon's body language didn't add up. Subtle shifts in posture, micro-expressions in those glowing eyes. Every fiber of his being screamed that there was more to this alliance than met the eye. We're teetering on the brink of revelation here. The moment you've been waiting for is about to unfold. You absolutely cannot miss how these events will dramatically alter the course of human history. As days turned into weeks, the uneasy alliance deepened. Kairos introduced Sophia to the Dragon Council, a gathering of ancient beings whose collective wisdom spanned millennia. Their chamber, carved from living crystal that pulsed with inner light, resonated with harmonic frequencies that seemed to rearrange molecules at a fundamental level. Each council member projected their consciousness into Sophia's mind simultaneously, creating a symphony of thoughts and memories that threatened to overwhelm her human limitations. Yet she persevered, driven by the knowledge that humanity's survival depended on understanding these enigmatic allies. Commander Anderson established a military observation post near the dragon's territory, his soldiers monitoring every interaction between humans and their scaled benefactors. Through powerful lenses, they documented unusual phenomena, plants responding to dragon presence by altering their growth patterns, mineral deposits shifting formation when approached by certain council members. Most disturbing were the nights when the entire valley would glow with an ethereal light, and shadowy figures could be seen moving in impossible ways, defying known laws of physics. Sophia discovered that the dragons possessed technology based on quantum entanglement principles far beyond human comprehension. They demonstrated devices capable of folding space-time, weapons that manipulated gravity itself, and healing chambers that could mend fatal wounds in minutes. Yet, for all their technological prowess, the dragons maintained a strict hierarchy and code of conduct that seemed almost feudal in nature. Younger dragons deferred to elders without question, while certain council members held absolute authority over specific domains of knowledge or power. During a particularly intense training session, Kairos revealed their most guarded secret. The dragons had once faced extinction at the hands of the same invaders threatening humanity now. Their current form wasn't their original state. They had undergone radical biological and technological modifications to survive. This admission sent shockwaves through the human leadership. If such ancient and powerful beings had nearly fallen to the invaders, what hope did fragile humans truly have? Mark's suspicions grew as he analyzed the dragon's assistance. Their technology came with restrictions. Certain systems couldn't be activated without dragon supervision. Key components self-destructed if tampered with, and all training sessions were conducted under careful observation. It seemed less like genuine aid and more like controlled sharing of power. Yet, despite his reservations, the results were undeniable. Human forces armed with dragon-enhanced weapons repelled several small-scale invader attacks with unprecedented success. The turning point came during a joint operation to reclaim a strategic asteroid field. Sophia found herself aboard Kairos's personal vessel, a magnificent construct that seemed alive, its hull rippling like liquid mercury. As they approached the battle zone, she witnessed firsthand the dragon's true capabilities. Kairos unleashed a devastating weapon that bent light itself, creating mirages that confused and scattered the enemy fleet. The human ships, augmented with dragon technology, coordinated perfectly with their new allies, executing maneuvers that would have been impossible weeks before. However, victory came at a price. During the engagement, several human pilots reported experiencing strange visions, glimpses of past dragon conflicts, flashes of ancient battles fought across stars now burned out. Some claimed to hear voices in their heads, speaking in languages older than recorded history. Medical teams noted increased neural activity in affected pilots, their brain patterns showing similarities to those observed in deep meditation or religious experiences. Sophia recognized these symptoms. They matched her own experiences during prolonged contact with the dragons. Back at the human base, Tensions mounted as soldiers debated whether the benefits outweighed the risks. Some viewed the dragons as saviors, while others whispered about hidden costs. Commander Anderson instituted mandatory psychological evaluations for all personnel working closely with their allies, but even he couldn't ignore the improved combat effectiveness. The human fleet, once struggling to hold basic defensive positions, now operated with precision and coordination that bordered on supernatural. Kairos revealed another layer of complexity when it explained the dragon's social structure. Their society functioned as a hive mind of sorts, individual consciousness connected through quantum links maintained by the council elders. This explained their ability to coordinate seamlessly in battle and share knowledge instantly. But it also meant that complete separation from the collective was impossible. Any information gained by humans through direct contact would eventually return to the dragon consciousness. Sophia wrestled with these revelations during late-night discussions with Kairos. The dragon admitted that their offer of help wasn't purely altruistic. Humanity represented a potential evolutionary path they hadn't considered, organic beings achieving technological mastery without sacrificing individuality. The Council saw in humans a chance to regain something they'd lost during their transformation into the powerful beings they were now. A series of mysterious disappearances among human scientists working on dragon technology forced Commander Anderson to take drastic measures. He ordered covert surveillance of all research facilities, deploying elite units equipped with modified detection equipment capable of penetrating the dragon's quantum fields. The results shocked even his hardened veterans. Video footage showed researchers entering restricted areas, then emerging hours later with no memory of what transpired. Some exhibited enhanced abilities, like accelerated healing or heightened perception, while others deteriorated rapidly, their bodies unable to handle whatever changes had been initiated. Sophia found herself caught between increasingly hostile factions. Military leadership demanded immediate cessation of all joint projects, citing security concerns and potential threats to human autonomy. Meanwhile, civilian authorities argued that rejecting dragon assistance would doom humanity to eventual extinction. During heated debates in the Provisional Government Council, tempers flared as both sides presented compelling evidence supporting their positions. Sophia's diplomatic skills were pushed to their limits as she attempted to mediate between groups growing more entrenched in their views daily. Kairos provided unexpected support during this crisis. Through Sophia, the Dragon Ambassador revealed that similar divisions had once threatened Dragon society itself. Their ancient records contained accounts of factions opposing the technological transformations that saved their species. These historical parallels offered valuable insights into managing human-dragon relations, but also raised troubling questions about the dragon's true motives. Were they genuinely helping humanity avoid their past mistakes, or manipulating events to ensure history repeated itself according to their design? The situation escalated when a high-ranking human officer went rogue, stealing prototype weapons enhanced with dragon technology. The incident exposed vulnerabilities in security protocols and demonstrated how easily their combined technologies could be turned against either species. Both human and dragon forces mobilized to contain the threat, leading to a tense standoff when retrieval teams converged on the fugitive's location. Kairos personally intervened, using its powers to neutralize the stolen technology without harming the rogue officer, a display of restraint that surprised many human observers. The recovery of the stolen prototypes triggered an unprecedented exchange of knowledge. Scientists from both species worked around the clock in specially designed laboratories where quantum fields overlapped safely. Humans learned that dragon technology wasn't merely mechanical but incorporated biological elements that evolved with use. Certain devices actually adapted to their operators' neural patterns, becoming more efficient over time. This discovery explained both the enhanced abilities observed in some personnel and the catastrophic failures in others. The technology literally rewired users' brains to better interface with its systems. Sophia became increasingly aware of subtle changes in her own perception. Colors seemed more vibrant, sounds carried additional layers of meaning, and she occasionally experienced flashes of insight that felt like memories of places she'd never been. During private consultations with Kairos, she learned that prolonged exposure to dragon technology was initiating similar transformations in her physiology. The dragon ambassador explained that these changes were necessary to fully utilize their gifts, but warned that the process was irreversible and potentially addictive. Commander Anderson implemented strict rotation schedules for personnel working with dragon technology, limiting exposure time and mandating regular medical checks. Despite these precautions, performance metrics showed significant improvements in operational efficiency. Soldiers reported enhanced reflexes and situational awareness, while technicians solved complex problems with intuition rather than calculation. However, psychological evaluations revealed growing dependency. Many subjects described feeling incomplete without access to dragon-augmented systems. The dragons revealed another aspect of their society. Their young underwent similar transformations during adolescence, a process they called ascension. Those who succeeded became full members of adult society, while failures were absorbed back into the collective consciousness. Kairos admitted that human adaptation to their technology followed similar principles, though accelerated by necessity. This information added another layer of complexity to the alliance, raising ethical questions about knowingly subjecting people to such profound changes. Tensions reached a boiling point when a deep space probe returned images of massive alien fleets massing at the edge of human-controlled space. The invaders were preparing their largest assault yet, and time was running out. Sophia found herself mediating increasingly desperate negotiations as both species debated how much technology to share and how quickly humans should adapt to wield it effectively. Kairos argued for accelerated integration, warning that holding back would result in catastrophic losses. Military leaders countered that rushing the process risked creating unstable warriors who might turn on their own kind. During a critical strategy meeting, something unprecedented occurred. Kairos voluntarily submitted to human examination. The dragon allowed scientists to study its biological systems in detail, revealing previously unknown aspects of their physiology. They discovered nanoscopic machines integrated into every cell, constantly repairing damage and optimizing functions. More shockingly, these machines appeared to be self-replicating, suggesting that dragon biology was partially artificial. This revelation sparked heated debate about whether the dragons were truly a natural species or something else entirely. Commander Anderson authorized limited deployment of human forces enhanced with dragon technology in a series of controlled engagements. The results were spectacular but concerning. Enhanced soldiers performed beyond expectations, executing maneuvers with precision that bordered on precognitive. However, after-action reports noted disturbing trends: increased aggression, diminished empathy, and difficulty reintegrating with unaugmented units. Psychological profiles showed brainwave patterns converging with those observed in young dragons undergoing ascension. Sophia witnessed firsthand the toll this transformation took on volunteers. During visits to recovery wards, she met soldiers who spoke of hearing voices, seeing visions of alternate realities, and experiencing memories that weren't their own. Some described feeling connected to a vast consciousness that guided their actions in battle. Others reported losing chunks of time, waking up miles from their last remembered location with no explanation for how they got there. The line between human enhancement and dragon assimilation was blurring faster than anyone had anticipated. The situation escalated dramatically when a dragon elder unexpectedly died during a joint research experiment. Its passing triggered a chain reaction throughout the dragon population. Their quantum network destabilized, causing widespread chaos among both species. Humans with significant exposure to dragon technology experienced severe withdrawal symptoms, while dragons struggled to maintain cohesion without their elders' stabilizing influence. For the first time, Sophia witnessed cracks forming in the dragon's carefully maintained facade of unity. Caros revealed that the deceased elder had been secretly opposing deeper integration with humans, believing it endangered dragon society's integrity. Its death created a power vacuum that various factions now sought to fill, each promoting different approaches to their alliance. Some advocated for immediate cessation of all cooperation, while others pushed for even closer integration, arguing that humanity represented their best chance at restoring balance to their fractured society. The political maneuvering mirrored human power struggles but operated on a scale that made earthly politics seem trivial by comparison. Commander Anderson discovered that dragon technology had begun spreading beyond controlled environments. Black markets flourished with unauthorized devices, and underground labs experimented with reverse-engineered versions. Reports filtered in of rogue operators using crude adaptations to gain power and influence. The military's attempts to contain this technological proliferation only highlighted how deeply entwined human and dragon capabilities had become. Even standard equipment now required dragon-based components to function optimally, creating dependencies that neither species could easily break. Sophia found herself navigating increasingly treacherous diplomatic waters as both species grappled with these revelations. Meetings with the Dragon Council became tense affairs, with invisible currents of power shifting beneath polite discourse. Ancient grievances surfaced, rivalries between dragon clans, suppressed histories of internal conflict, and long-buried secrets about their true origins. Each revelation forced humanity to reconsider everything they thought they knew about their allies while simultaneously making them more dependent on dragon assistance. As the alien invasion fleet drew closer, internal divisions reached a breaking point. A faction of human scientists, led by Dr. Elena Vasquez, defected to an isolated research station, taking classified dragon technology with them. They argued that humanity's future lay in independent development rather than continued dependence on their allies. Their departure triggered a cascade of similar actions. Colonies declared autonomy, military units refused orders involving dragon technology, and civilian populations rioted against what they perceived as forced evolution. Caros responded by revealing a shocking truth. The dragon's transformation hadn't been entirely voluntary. Their ancient enemies had forced them down this path through biological warfare, leaving them no choice but to embrace radical change or face extinction. This admission fundamentally altered human perceptions of their allies, transforming them from benevolent saviors to fellow victims of circumstance. The revelation sparked intense debate about whether humanity should follow a similar path or find another way forward. Commander Anderson faced mutiny within his ranks when he ordered the use of dragon-enhanced weapons in defense of rebel-held territories. Soldiers questioned whether protecting dissidents was worth compromising human autonomy further. The resulting conflict exposed vulnerabilities in their defenses, allowing smaller alien raids to penetrate deeper into human space than ever before. Each successful incursion brought the invaders closer to discovering Orion 7's location, raising the stakes exponentially. Sophia brokered emergency talks between human factions and dragon clans, attempting to forge a unified response to the looming threat. During these negotiations, she uncovered evidence suggesting that certain dragon factions had been manipulating events from the beginning, steering both species toward a predetermined outcome. The implications were staggering. Everything they'd experienced might have been orchestrated to force humanity down a specific evolutionary path, regardless of the cost in lives or freedom. The climactic confrontation occurred during a desperate attempt to defend a crucial relay station. As alien forces overwhelmed outer defenses, enhanced human soldiers and dragon warriors fought side by side in chaotic conditions. The battlefield became a kaleidoscope of quantum effects and bioluminescent displays as both species pushed their combined technology to its limits. Sophia coordinated responses from a mobile command center, her mind linked to both human networks and dragon consciousness through experimental interfaces. In the heat of battle, a fundamental truth emerged: the dragon's quantum network and human neural patterns had begun merging spontaneously, creating a hybrid consciousness that transcended both species' limitations. Soldiers reported experiencing collective awareness, sharing thoughts and intentions instantaneously. Dragons expressed surprise at humanity's capacity for innovation within their rigid framework, introducing variables that strengthened rather than destabilized their system. Kairos made the ultimate sacrifice, channeling its entire being into stabilizing the emerging hybrid network. As its physical form dissolved into pure energy, it broadcast a final message to both species: their futures were now irrevocably intertwined. The distinction between helper and helped had become meaningless. Survival depended on embracing this new reality rather than resisting it. The remaining dragon elders acknowledged this truth, dissolving their traditional hierarchy to participate fully in the evolving consciousness. Commander Anderson, witnessing his troops operate with unprecedented coordination and effectiveness, realized that the feared loss of autonomy had transformed into something greater: a synthesis of strengths that preserved essential human qualities while incorporating dragon advantages. The battle turned decisively in their favor as this new hybrid force demonstrated capabilities far exceeding anything either species could achieve alone. In the aftermath, Sophia stood amidst survivors from both species, understanding that the question of betrayal or assistance had become irrelevant. They had forged something entirely new: a civilization that honored its diverse origins while transcending them. Subscribe now to continue exploring humanity's extraordinary journey among the stars. Reconstruction efforts revealed unexpected consequences of the hybrid consciousness. Human settlements began exhibiting spontaneous organization patterns reminiscent of dragon social structures, while dragon territories developed infrastructure that reflected human creativity and adaptability. The blending of minds had triggered cascading effects throughout both societies, rewriting fundamental aspects of their cultures and technologies. Sophia documented these changes, noting how children born after the merger demonstrated innate abilities to manipulate quantum fields and interface with dragon technology naturally. Commander Anderson oversaw the integration of military forces, which had become something entirely new. Traditional ranks and command structures gave way to fluid organizational patterns that shifted according to mission requirements and individual capabilities. Enhanced soldiers moved between units seamlessly, their shared consciousness allowing for instantaneous adaptation to changing circumstances. Training programs evolved to focus on developing unique combination abilities that emerged from human-dragon synergy rather than forcing individuals into predefined roles. The former Dragon Council chambers transformed into collaborative research centers where mixed teams explored the boundaries of their merged capabilities. Projects that once seemed impossible progressed rapidly: stable wormhole creation, matter-energy conversion, and consciousness transfer technologies all advanced beyond expectations. However, these breakthroughs came with challenges. The hybrid consciousness occasionally manifested unpredictable phenomena, like localized reality distortions or temporary emergence of ancestral memories from both species' pasts. Sophia discovered that the merger had created a new form of governance. Decisions were made through a consensus process that incorporated input from all participants, weighted by their relevant expertise and experience. This system proved remarkably efficient, though it required constant adjustment as new capabilities emerged and old ones evolved. The traditional concept of leadership transformed into something more akin to orchestration, with individuals guiding rather than commanding collective action. Exploration of uncharted regions revealed that the hybrid civilization's emergence had triggered responses from other starfaring species. Diplomatic missions encountered civilizations that viewed the human-dragon synthesis with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Some species expressed interest in similar transformations, while others viewed the phenomenon as a threat to galactic stability. Sophia found herself negotiating not just for humanity or the dragons, but for an entirely new type of interstellar entity that challenged existing power structures and cultural norms. Commander Anderson's forces adapted to protect this new civilization's interests, developing strategies that leveraged their unique capabilities. Battle formations incorporated elements of both human tactical flexibility and dragon quantum manipulation, creating combat patterns that baffled traditional military doctrines. Intelligence operations benefited from the hybrid consciousness's ability to perceive and analyze data streams from multiple perspectives simultaneously, often predicting enemy actions before they occurred. The scientific community grappled with philosophical implications as they documented cases of spontaneous genetic modification among population centers. Children born to parents from different species backgrounds demonstrated unprecedented combinations of traits, suggesting that the hybrid consciousness wasn't merely a mental phenomenon, but had fundamentally altered their biological potential. Research teams scrambled to understand and manage these developments while maintaining ethical standards that respected individual autonomy. As decades passed, the hybrid civilization faced its greatest test, the discovery of remnants from the ancient war that had forced the dragon's transformation. Massive derelict ships containing forgotten technologies and trapped consciousnesses drifted through unexplored sectors, radiating quantum disturbances that affected hybrid minds differently than pure human or dragon consciousness. Sophia led expeditions to these sites, documenting how exposure to ancient energies triggered rapid evolutionary leaps in certain individuals while causing regression in others. Commander Anderson's successor, Admiral Chun, developed specialized response teams to handle these encounters. Their experiences revealed that the hybrid consciousness wasn't a fixed state, but rather a dynamic process requiring constant recalibration. Some team members evolved into entirely new forms, their bodies adapting to incorporate both biological and technological elements in ways that defied conventional understanding. Others found their human or dragon aspects becoming dominant, creating subcultures within the larger hybrid civilization. The rediscovery of ancient dragon archives provided crucial insights into managing these transformations. Sophisticated AI systems, developed through human-dragon collaboration, analyzed recovered data to predict and guide evolutionary paths. Educational institutions adapted their curricula to prepare citizens for potential metamorphoses, teaching techniques for maintaining identity while embracing change. Medical facilities evolved into transformation centers where individuals could safely navigate their evolutionary journeys under expert guidance. The hybrid civilization's expansion brought them into contact with the invaders' homeworld, now revealed to be a dying sphere ravaged by centuries of warfare. Sophia led diplomatic missions that uncovered shocking truths. The invaders' aggression stemmed from desperation rather than malice, their species facing extinction due to environmental collapse exacerbated by generations of conflict. This revelation forced both humans and dragons to confront uncomfortable parallels with their own histories of destruction and adaptation. Military leaders developed unprecedented strategies combining human ingenuity with dragon quantum manipulation to address the invaders' plight. Engineering teams created massive terraforming platforms that utilized hybrid technology to stabilize the dying planet's environment. However, implementing these solutions required overcoming deep-seated mistrust and cultural differences that had fueled centuries of warfare. Command structures evolved to incorporate representatives from both species, creating decision-making processes that balanced immediate needs with long-term sustainability goals. Scientific breakthroughs emerged from collaboration between human theoretical physicists and dragon quantum masters. They developed methods to repair damaged ecosystems at a fundamental level, restructuring molecular bonds to restore degraded environments. These techniques proved effective not only on the invaders' homeworld but also on planets ravaged by previous conflicts. The success of these projects demonstrated that the hybrid civilization's potential extended beyond mere survival. they had become architects of galactic renewal. Generations later, the descendants of Earth's refugees had become something entirely new, a civilization that existed simultaneously as individual beings and a collective consciousness spanning multiple star systems. Sophia's journals documented the journey from desperate survivors to galactic stewards, preserving the lessons learned through hardship and transformation. The question of whether the dragons had helped or betrayed humanity became irrelevant in the face of what they had become together, a species capable of transcending limitations while honoring their diverse heritage. Command structures had evolved into dynamic networks where leadership roles flowed organically between individuals based on need and capability. Military forces operated as extensions of a shared consciousness, capable of coordinating actions across vast distances instantaneously. Yet they maintained distinct identities, celebrating the unique contributions of human creativity and dragon wisdom to their collective strength. Education systems focused on developing both individual potential and capacity for harmonious integration within the greater whole. The hybrid civilization's legacy extended beyond mere survival. They had become guardians of galactic evolution, helping other species navigate challenges similar to those that had shaped their own development. Archives containing knowledge from both human and dragon ancestors guided their decisions, ensuring that future transformations would proceed with wisdom gained through experience. As they looked to the stars, they understood that their journey was just beginning, an ongoing process of growth and discovery that honored their past while embracing infinite possibilities ahead. Subscribe now to continue exploring humanity's extraordinary journey among the stars.